日本時間4月28日、米国時間4月27日に行われたシカゴ、ホワイトソックス対ロサンゼルス、エンゼルス戦は壮絶な展開の末、ホワイトソックスが劇的な逆転勝利を収めた。試合は序盤、エンゼルス先発の好投によりホワイトソックス打線は沈黙。7回を迎えた時点で1対5と劣勢に立たされていた。しかしここから流れは一変する。エンゼルスのブルペンが崩れ、四球や安打が重なり一気にチャンスが拡大。試合の分岐点となった。そして主役は村上宗隆だった。満塁に近い重圧の場面で放った一撃は、試合をひっくり返す逆転スリーラン本塁打。今季12号となるこの一発で、メジャートップに躍り出た。勝負どころでの圧倒的な勝負強さは、まさにクラッチヒッターの真骨頂と言える。この回、ホワイトソックスは一挙7得点。スターターの好投とブルペンの脆さという対照的な構図が、試合の結末を大きく左右した。深夜まで及んだ激闘の中で生まれた衝撃の大逆転劇。番組ではこの後、試合の詳細と選手たちの声をお届けする。ぜひ最後までご覧いただきたい。
And the White Sox have this game in the win column. It is White Sox postgame live presented by Yingling Flight Next Generation of Light Beer. Here with the legend Ozzy, and I'm Chuck Arfine. We might as well do a late night show because it is late. And thank goodness White Sox hung on and won this game because it almost ended poorly for them.
It's a funny thing because when the game started, I cursed for the first 2 innings.
Yeah.
And I was too happy about the way they was going for the White Sox.
Well, Jack Kohanowitz was looking really good for the Angels.
By the way, best sinker we see all year long, to me. You know, the first inning I saw this kid throw the ball, I told you guys, my God, look at that sinker. He threw very well, very good, and I think the White Sox did a tremendous job for him late when they get on base and take him out.
All right, so let's start by showing you what Jack Kohanowitz had, and this was not looking good for the Sox. We had this 3-hour rain delay. He comes out. He's got this sinker. And for 6 innings, he was almost unhittable. This sinker gives him the highest ground ball rate in the American League. He got 12 ground ball outs. Very few balls were hit hard. Here's one that got in the air by Miguel Vargas. But why was he so good here tonight?
Well, you throw the sinker for a strike this ball game. And you'll be around the plate with a good stop because you got sinker, a little bit of cutter, and it make those guys swing the bat. You can knock it. Look at that ball moving all the way down. That's the best sinker. You know, his four-seam fastball is 96, 97, something with him. But when that ball moving the sinker ways, you're not going to do too much with him.
Yeah, he had almost a 7 ERA last year, but he came into this game with a 3 ERA. He's been nasty all season. He was kind of roughed up in his first start, but ever since then, last 4 starts were great, kind of like this. And after the White Sox struggled for those last 2 games against the Nationals offensively, you're like, okay, so what is going to happen here today? You see Kohanowitz there, and you're like, I don't know about this. You got to get to the bullpen. You got to get to the Angels bullpen. They lost a 6-0 lead yesterday in Kansas City. The Sox trailed 5-1 in the 7th. Last 8 games, before this one, the Angels bullpen had an ERA close to 8. They're the second most blown saves in the majors. Get to the bullpen. That is our difference maker, brought to you by St. Xavier University. This is how it all unfolded because it is in the 7th, and Kohanowitz is still out there. Here's an error. This is such a break for the White Sox. Antonacci gets on. That leads off the inning. Then it's Chase Mydroth with a bunt single after this. And Kohanowitz gets pulled, bringing in Nick Sandlin. This is what really changed the game, Ozzy.
You know, I think that's one thing is a huge play. You know, Nato tried to get the ball, take the wrong bounce. All the sun, Bond, they got the first and second, get the opportunity to bring the bullpen. Something they was looking for. Make sure they take this guy out of the game because the way it was pitching.
All right, so Tristan Peters, there's an RBI single. All right, it's 5-2. But there's nobody out, and you've got the Angels bullpen in there. Next, Edgar Quero gets hit, so the bases are loaded for Andrew Benintendi. A 2-run double. The Sox cut the lead to 5-4. There is still nobody out. So Kurt Suzuki, who has been going through the ringer with this bullpen, makes another bullpen move. Sandelin's pulled. Drew Pomeranz comes in, and that leads to our plays of the game presented by Yingling, and it's Munetaka Murakami. This is a little before midnight against a lefty, Drew Pomeranz, on a 2-2 count. Bam! A 3-run homer for Munetaka Murakami, his 12th of the season. That is the most in the majors, and the White Sox take a 7-5 lead. We're learning things about Murakami. Here's one that we hadn't really seen. This dude is clutch, because that was clutch.
Last couple of home runs be to take the lead, tie the game, or take the lead in that particular moment. But strong kid. I got power.
I got power.
He got a lot of power.
So does Miguel Vargas. Next batter. He goes deep. A solo home run to left. His 6th. The Sox score 7 runs in the inning. They take an 8-5 lead just like that. How the Angels are feeling right now with their bullpen after what happened yesterday and today, I can't even imagine what it's like right now in that clubhouse.
I keep saying that, Chuck, for the last 10 years. I think when you have good bullpen, manage and live right. What I say all the time, when you have good bullpen and good wife, my God, that's the best life ever.
Yeah.
When you have a good wife and good bullpen, because that's the biggest move you're going to make.
Yeah.
Biggest move of the one.
Wins and loses games.
People, we got to see more how you handle the bullpen. But in that moment right now, you know, unfortunately, the Angels, every time they come for the bullpen, it's like praying.
Yeah.
Let's go, guy. But you know what I mean? It's very tough. Win games in the big league when your bullpen don't do what they're supposed to do.
Even when you have a 6-0 lead yesterday, that was in the 2nd inning. Today was 5-1 in the 7th, and they lose it. The Sox almost lost this game, or at least lost the lead, because here's what happened in the top of the 9th. Grant Taylor was going for a 5-out save, and an ominous start to this inning, and we'll show you here. Colson Montgomery makes a throwing error. This is Mike Trout, who is safe at first, and he's been really accurate with his throws. What happened there?
I think it was a little bit of confidence. Because I think I've seen it.
He was uncomfortable, you mean? Or?
No, very, you know, he thought the play going to be easy. The ball slipped out of his hands.
Okay.
But everything he did, it was perfect to throw the ball. I think it's not push anything on the ball. That's why the ball stay away from him.
All right, so Vaughn Grissom, an RBI double. All right, it's getting close, 8-5. And Soler, ground out. That makes it 8-6. And so Taylor at this point, actually, Taylor's going to get a strikeout coming after this. Joe Adele single to left to make it 8-6. Brian Hudson is a lefty. He was warming up, but they would stay with Taylor after this strikeout here. And what did you think about this? Would you want a lefty-lefty matchup after this strikeout, or were you fine with them staying with Taylor?
Oh, you know, I mean, stay with Taylor is the best guy out of the bullpen right now. He's throwing the ball very good, but you know, I mean, things not working the way it was. And right now, I think we'll make him. It was taken with his brain, not with his heart.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Nolan Shanuel, that was just a blooper to left, but Antonacci couldn't make the play. So Hudson has to come on now. Men on 2nd and 3rd. And he gets his first career save, gets the grounder, because those were back-to-back lefties, but they ended up having Taylor in their one, and Hudson got the second one.
I think that's why Will was thinking about it. You know, this kid never have an opportunity to say never been in that situation before. He said, you know what, I got to roll the dice, and he rolled the dice. He come on winning that setup right there.
All right, it took a lot for it to be a one-run victory for the Sox, but every time they do get a one-run win, I kind of like chalk that up in my head because they lost so many one-run games. How this became a one-run game is crazy, but they got the win. The hero, among a few other heroes, was Munetaka Murakami, and he is with Brooke Fletcher.
This game may have gone past midnight, but that didn't impact the energy from this group, especially there in the 7th inning. Putting up a 7 spot, what changed with this lineup once the Angels went to their pen?
7回の打線がつながった点においてはどういったチームの雰囲気などはございました。いやもうチームの雰囲気も逆転するっていう雰囲気でしたし、ピッチャーもビドがね頑張ってくれてたんで、なんとか打線でカバーしたいなと思ってました。Beto was pitching really well, so I mean, we just really want to get back in that inning. The atmosphere in that dugout was that we're going to get that big run in that inning, so we're glad we did it.
For you, coming up in a big spot with that go-ahead homer, you're now leading Major League Baseball with 12. What is it about those moments that just bring out the best in you?
7回のホームランのところで今MLB で単独1位というところになってます。そういう大事な場面でああいった打撃ができるのはどういった部分にございますか。 いや、なかなか難しいですけど、本当にベニがね、満塁で打って楽な場面で回してくれたんで、なんとか外野まで持っていけばというふうな思いではいましたね。 Well, Benny hit a very good double when the bases are loaded. That got a bit off my back, so I was just trying to hit that as much as best as possible, and I'm glad that it went out.
You and Miguel Vargas have gone back-to-back for the second time this season. How much are you guys just feeding off each other right now?
バーガス選手と村上選手が2連続のホームランというところは今2回目というところなんですけど、お互いの影響というのはどんなものでしょうか。いや、もう年も同い年ですし、キャッチボールもしてくれて、アリゾナから話してくれるんで、はい、すごくありがたい存在です。Oh, we're the same age. We play catch together, and we mingle together a lot. So I'm just glad that he's a teammate, and I'm glad to have him here.
And you mentioned the bullpen. Just how much did they show up and give you guys an opportunity here tonight?
本当にピッチャー陣がすごく頑張ってくれたというところだと思うんですけども、それだけの、ピッチャー陣が影響する部分というのはどんなものでしょうか。いや、もう持ちつ持たれつなんで、いろんな意味でカバーしながら勝ちを積み重ねていければなと思ってます。I mean, they have our backs, we have our backs. It's always like that. So, anyway, to win the game, we'll try to get that as much as possible.
Thank you so much. Get some rest.
Keep it going. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, it was a late night, but what do you like about what your lineup did there in the seventh and the adjustments they made once they went to the pen?
Yeah, they just kept battling. We didn't have any solutions for their starter. Did a good job of getting us on the ground. We knew we had to find a way to get them up and get the ball off the ground. And we weren't able to do it, but we kept battling. And really, our pitching staff, with Beto coming in and giving us a chance, there was the difference.
Yeah, how impressive was the bullpen tonight, just keeping you guys in this one?
Yeah, it was great. After kind of a rough start from Anthony, to be able to keep us in the game, give these guys a chance to do their thing was awesome.
Mooney and Vargas went back-to-back for the second time this season. Just when those two are swinging it like that, how much pressure can a pair like that put on an opposing pitcher?
Yeah, there are guys right in the middle of the lineup. When those guys are slugging, we're in good shape. We see when they do that, the difference that it can make. I thought also, the bottom of our order did a great job kind of setting the table there, taking advantage of their error. So all the way around, really good job. And those guys in the middle hitting homers is awesome.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
It's just one game in April, but after the 2 10-inning losses that they had before this, what does this mean for this?
A lot.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you go to extra inning. Then you lost this one again. You start putting a lot of doubts in your mind. Oh my God, can we play late in the game? What we should do to play late in the game? This one, he was outstanding just for his good. Attend this game, make them to get ready and better mindset for tomorrow.
All right. Prevagen memorable moment. This goes to the dogs. It was dog night here at the park. Pooches of all shapes and sizes were in attendance. There was a parade on the field before the game, but then there was a 3-hour rain delay. But that did not stop Sox fans and their canines from sticking around for this long game. And look at these pooches. I love it.
That's outstanding.
Staying warm, waiting for a White Sox comeback that eventually did come.
I remember the first time they ever have those days.
Yeah, the Sox started it.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that, and then all the song here, he went popular all over the baseball.
Oh, look at this. I love.
We just felt like things are kind of starting to kind of snowball a little bit with the error and then the bunt, and we felt like it was the right time to take them out, and backfired obviously, but hindsight is always 20/20, so we made the decision and we stuck with it, and we believe that was the right call.
What did you see from Sandlin?
I mean, he gave up a hit a guy, and then gave up another hit and took him out. He's been really good coming into those situations, and just maybe left balls over the plate. It's hard to tell from the side, but it's a good passes, and 3 guys.
Are you concerned about Pomeranz?
Yeah. Obviously, gave the homer yesterday, gave the homer today. So, we just gotta, see what's going on and figure out the solution and kind of take care of it.
What did you just kind of the fight at the end there in the ninth inning?
Yeah, we've been doing that. Every game, these guys get down and they keep coming back. They get down, they keep coming back, and really just heartbreaking loss again. It's just, but we just got to see what we did wrong, learn from it, and move on till tomorrow.
Do you appreciate the honesty when it comes to the question regarding Pomeranz there? Before last night, he hadn't allowed a home run to a lefty since 2019, and then it happens on back-to-back nights. So it's tough right now.
And it's tough for a guy that had so much success last season alone and even beginning part of the season. The guy that you count on, especially with runners on base, to go out and do the job. But it's a tough one. And we asked about why, take out, Kohanowitz when he was dealing, especially a guy at a sinker ball. As a sinker ball pitcher myself, I thought even if I got to 100 pitches, my sinker's better at that point. I think I get a ground ball. Now that ground ball can get through the hole. But when you have guys down in the bullpen, he said you have to have trust in that. I'll tell you what, it is tough being a manager because, when you win a game, it's like everyone else did their job. When the game does not go your way, it generally falls on the manager's shoulders. But Kurt Suzuki knows he's got his guy going tomorrow night, so this can change it all around in one day.
You got to build back that trust. That just means getting back out there and doing it all over again.
As quick as possible, but I'm loving the offense going right now. I mean, it gets a pretty good pitching, too. Yesterday, Lugo, with all those runs, 14 hits. You got 14 hits again today. I mean, it's pretty impressive what they're doing. Mike Trout is crushing the baseball. Solaire's doing his job. Grissom's been really good. Shawnwell, a couple more hits. Balancing the line of Peraza. I like what they're doing.
At a certain point, it'll all start clicking, for the Angels.
今回も最後までご視聴いただき本当にありがとうございました。動画の内容を楽しんでいただけたでしょうか。もしよろしければチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆さんの応援が今後の動画制作の大きな励みになります。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。